Yo, what's up, everybody? Son of Fire here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a little bit something different. I'm going to be showing you guys every real-life trade that has happened so far with the beginning of free agency here in Madden 20. So I'm going to be showing all of the trades that have happened from both perspectives, and we're starting out from the Cardinals' perspective, trading for DeAndre Hopkins. Now, obviously, we're not expecting them to be able to trade for him because this was a very unfair trade for the Texans. So Cardinals gave up David Johnson, a second-round pick, and then a fourth-round pick in 2021, while the Houston Texans gave up DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, and a fourth-round pick from this year's draft. Here's the full trade. It shows that the Texans aren't interested in, or they're sort of interested in the second-round pick in David Johnson, but obviously it's a lot to give up. Let's go ahead, submit, and as you guys see, not even halfway filled to the bar. This is such a terrible trade by the Texans, and I'll be sharing my opinions on the trades after I show it from both perspectives, but as you guys can see, it's not even close. You're giving up a 98 overall player for a 77, not to mention David Johnson's terrible contract. You're eating $10 million of cap space a year. I'm not exactly sure the length on David Johnson's contract might be this coming year and 2021, but I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, the Cardinals intend to give Hopkins a new contract, but what I really think is crazy is that the Texans are still only giving up, they're still giving up a fourth-round pick from this year in addition to DeAndre Hopkins, while the Cardinals are just giving them a second-round pick, which it could be useful, but not DeAndre Hopkins level. The Cardinals still keep their first-round pick and get the best receiver in the game. Let's go ahead and show you guys from the Texans' perspective now. Alright, and as you guys can see, here we are. We're going to be making this trade from the Texans' perspective now, seeing if the Cardinals will accept it. My guess is that it will be fully accepted immediately. If any other team got this trade offer, I'm sure they would accept it immediately. So let's just add that Hopkins and that 2020 fourth-round pick from this year from the Cardinals. We want that second-round pick, and then the 2021 fourth-round pick, and then also David Johnson. There you guys see. Here's the full trade. Like I said, I'm expecting them to accept this pretty handedly. Let's go ahead and submit it. Whoa, and wow, the Cardinals somehow will just, what? They will not take DeAndre Hopkins from us, I guess. This is kind of crazy. It's for some reason at the top, as you guys see, it says the Cardinals are not interested in DeAndre Hopkins. Make a better offer. I don't know if I could have made a better offer than that. I'm even giving them a draft pick. For some reason, I guess Madden just overvalues David Johnson or overvalues these draft selections. But I'm not sure how the fourth round from this year is bad value, but their fourth round from next year is decent value. Who knows? But I know if I was the Cardinals, I would definitely be accepting this. Who knows why Madden doesn't accept it? But hey, I guess both sides don't accept the trade in this case. But like I said, talking about my opinion on the trade, I think the Cardinals get way better with this. It's going to be a stepping stone for the future, and I think they can definitely make some noise next year with that offense. They still do have their first-round pick number 8 or 9, I think. And now maybe they think they would have had to draft a receiver. Now they don't. So now they can use it on an O-lineman or the best available defensive player. But yeah, kind of crazy that in Madden the Cardinals won't accept this trade. Let's go ahead, hop into the next trade. It's going to be the Colts DeForest Buckner trade. All right, here we are. You guys see, we're going to set up our next trade. It's going to be the 13th overall pick in this year's draft from the Colts to the 49ers in exchange for their Pro Bowl defensive tackle, DeForest Buckner. If you guys didn't know, the Colts are going to make Buckner the second highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history. Huge contract for him. And I actually think this trade is pretty fair for both teams. We'll see what Madden has to say. Obviously, we're starting out here. We'll see if we can trade for DeForest Buckner. I'm going to guess no, just because for Buckner, he's a high overall. He has like star potential, I believe. Yeah. And he's only 25 years of age. So we'll go ahead and submit this trade. You guys see I actually did get the right pick, 13th pick. Let's submit it, and you guys see, boom, I was right. Only about 40 to 45% interest rate there. And it's not really close. I do think this trade is fair for both teams in real life. I don't think that the 49ers could have got much better value than the 13th pick. And I think that the Colts, they got a defensive tackle and they make their defense a lot better. But as you guys see, 49ers definitely are not taking that 13th overall pick for Buckner straight up. You're going to have to add a lot more, at least from Madden's perspective. But as far as real life goes, I think it's fair. We'll go ahead, offer this from the 49ers perspective, and see if we can go ahead and change the interest. All right, here we are. We're going to be doing this trade from the 49ers perspective now. I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed right here on the right, I do actually have the 12th pick, not the 13th. It's unfortunate that it's not going to be exact, but in Madden, it's not going to change anything. It's one overall pick. It might change a little sliver on the interest board, but nothing really significant with one overall pick. I've done this multiple times, and I just can't get the 13th pick, so we're just going to rock the 12th pick here. It's only one pick better. And as you guys see, Buckner on the left, we'll see if the Colts will accept this trade. And wow, the Colts actually won't accept that trade for Buckner. When we were looking at it from the other side, the Colts would have had to add way more for the 49ers to accept that trade. It was just completely red. And now we see that apparently the Colts won't accept it at all, even for Buckner. It's the exact same trade. And it's kind of crazy how different it is just when you switch the teams. But yeah, so it looks like it's around 65-70% on the interest board. And yeah, I guess the 49ers will have to add more just to get that pick. It kind of seems unlikely. And when sharing my thoughts from the trade, I feel like personally the 49ers actually did win the trade just by a little. They don't have to pay Buckner. The Colts, like I said, made him second highest paid D tackle in NFL history. And I think that 13th pick has pretty good value in the draft. There's a lot of good players they can do. If they do want to add D-line depth, they can. Or they can go ahead, add a defensive back. There's a lot of DBs in the draft. Or even upgrade their linebacking core. So overall, yeah, like I said, the Colts, you could say they won the trade, but I feel like it's a good trade for both sides. Let's go ahead, hop into the next trade. Let's do this Calais Campbell Ravens trade. All right, here you guys see, starting out the trade, we're going to be the Ravens first, and then we'll go to the Jaguars. Now, we obviously aren't expecting the Jaguars to take this trade. It's going to be a 5th round pick from this year for Calais Campbell. You guys see he's a 95 overall in Madden. He is pretty old. Obviously, I think we all know who won the trade. It's going to be the Ravens. Let's just offer it. Not even close. You guys see the Jaguars got absolutely fleeced in this trade. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure in everybody's opinions as well. Now, I understand that they're getting off his salary, they're trying to rebuild, but you have to be able to get better value than a 5th round draft pick for a player like Calais Campbell. He's still one of the better DNs in the league despite his age, and I think Madden tells the story very well. You can see the 5th round pick for Calais Campbell, it might be 10%, 15% on the interest bar. So let's go ahead, offer this from the Jaguars perspective just for kicks and giggles, but I think we all know that Ravens will accept that trade immediately. Let's go ahead, hop into that. All right, here we are from the Jaguars perspective. I think we all know what is going to happen here. They're going to accept it in a heartbeat. Best player on the Jaguars, Calais Campbell, 95 overall. So our draft picks, 5th round pick. I think looking at it from the Jaguars perspective, I think you realize how crazy this is, even in Madden terms. Just 5th round pick for your best player. All right, I think the Ravens will accept that immediately. Let's offer it. And yeah, it wasn't even close. I think they would have accepted it for a 2nd round pick as well. But you guys see it, not very surprisingly, they're going to accept that. Let's go ahead, hop into another trade, the Hayden Hurst trade. Pretty unique trade. Let's go ahead and do that one. All right, here we got an interesting trade. Hayden Hurst for a 2020 2nd round pick, a 5th round pick, and then the Falcons also get the Ravens 4th round pick. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not really sure how to feel about this. The tight end position was obviously a position of need when you go ahead and let Hooper walk in free agency. So let's not go to that. Let's go to draft picks. They gave up a 2nd and a 4th, or a 2nd and a 5th. And then the Ravens gave up their tight end and the 4th round pick. Hayden Hurst, 3rd tight end on the roster. Now, if I had to guess, I'm not sure how to feel about this one. I feel like the Ravens definitely won't accept this, giving up the 4th and their tight end with like star development. And they actually do accept it. So, the Ravens will accept that trade just giving up that second round pick, I guess, was enough. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good trade for the Ravens. You have Nick Boyle and Mark Andrews on your roster. You don't really need Hayden Hurst. Although he is young and he was your first round pick just 2 years ago, I believe. It is unfortunate that you have to get rid of him, but for the Falcons, I think it's also a good trade. You get a tight end on a cheap contract, a relatively cheap contract. You only give up a second round pick. It's not too bad, and there's not many places you could have got a better tight end. Maybe you could have got one in the draft, but I think Hayden Hurst will be a good tight end. Let's go ahead, try this from the Ravens' perspective. But as you guys see, the Ravens would accept this trade if it was offered to them in Madden. All right, as you guys can see, from the Ravens' perspective now, Ravens been making moves. They made that Campbell move. Now this one, you guys saw that they accepted it when the Falcons offered it to them. We'll see if the Falcons accept it when offered to them. So let's go ahead, add Hurst, and then that, not Andrews. Forget that Hurst is the third tight end. And then their fourth round pick right there for second and a fifth. Like I said, I do think this is a very even trade. We'll see if Madden will accept it. Shows that the Falcons aren't interested in Hurst. I mean, they do have Hooper, so that kind of makes sense. Not interested in the fourth, so I feel like they will decline this. And yeah, it's declined. Just kind of surprising. Shows that the Falcons aren't interested, and it's kind of crazy that the Ravens did accept it from the other side. I guess it makes sense considering the fact that the Falcons don't accept this. If it was offered the other way, then I feel like the Ravens would accept it, but kind of crazy. When you look at it from this point, maybe you think that the Falcons did get a little bit cheated, but I feel like the trade was definitely very even, pretty fair, and yeah. Alright, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it. Obviously, time of recording is key in this, so depending on when you're watching, there could be some new trades up, but as of today, these are the only trades that happened. Really just wanted to show you guys those crazy Buckner and Hopkins trades that happened, and probably the most interesting thing that happened was that the Cardinals did not accept the trade in Madden when you offered them Hopkins and that fourth round pick. Very interesting right there, but yeah, it's pretty much going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, like I said, hit that sub button if you are new, and follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. Peace. I'm out of here.